The election is next month, the Republican primary election. It's also a chance where you can vote for sheriff, for state attorney, and for county commission. And you know that Tommy Ham has been sitting on the county commission for 2 whole 4-year terms. And you've got a much better choice in Ron Keel. And you'll get a chance to meet Ron Keel on Tuesday because he's throwing this event.
Come join us on Tuesday, July 16th at the Duplin Winery, located on Back Beach Road, Panama City Beach. Open bar, music, and conversation. Event starts at 6 p.m. and will end at 8 p.m. Minimum donation of $20. Donation waived for military, first responders, and teachers. So break out your summer cocktail attire and bring the family as we support Ron Keel, your future District 1 County Commissioner.
So you know that a couple of weeks ago, there was a city commission meeting in Lynn Haven, and still the issue is the county commissioners, Judy Vandegrift especially, Pat, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? I can't believe it. Sam Peebles and Pat, why am I drawing a blank on Pat's last name? Commissioner Pat. Somebody put it in the comments section for me. And of course, the mayor and the city manager. And Jesse Nelson lost it. The mayor lost it a couple of weeks ago. I read you the letter that James Finch sent. And Pat Perno just came to my head. Sorry, Pat, if you're watching, but you got to get with it, man. For these guys continue to defend and protect, especially Vandegrift. Not so much Peebles, and Pat Perno is going to do whatever they tell him to do. But today there was they snuck a meeting in today. Oh, sure, they made the required announcements, but it was supposed to be on Tuesday. And so one commissioner, the only commissioner, Jamie Warwick, who is trying to do his best to get rid of the vulgar and vindictive and law-breaking criminal defendant police chief Ricky Ramey, good friends with Sheriff Tommy Ford, who has been covering for him as well. Hey, if you want to see an interesting picture of Sheriff Tommy Ford and Ricky Ramey with their shirts off and arms around each other, I'm not joking, go to the Beacon of Bay County's Facebook page. The Beacon of Bay County's Facebook page, and you can see how close they are, Sheriff Tommy Ford and Police Chief Ricky Ramey. Anyway, today, though, the public comment section was fire, or as they call it in Lynn Haven, public commentary. And I just want to share with you what citizens had to say. I don't know who this gentleman is, but his comments were hot. Listen.
I'm seeking some facts and answers today. In the last city commission meeting, Pastor Chris prayed that our city commission would seek guidance from God and his wisdom. Part of that meeting held the following tones: resentment, name calling, manipulation, floating racism, claims of free speech violations, and jealousy. All of that came from one person, our mayor. Mayor, you're an educated man, so I assume you understand the need for sound reason and citing sources. I ask that you answer the following questions using that method. Resentment. You said you were appalled and offended as an African-American that Jamie called a former NFL quarterback a POS almost 7 years ago on a Facebook post. He didn't even say piece of you-know-what. He said POS. The post was so offensive it got 6 likes, 3 comments, and 1 share. Why is that post so appalling and offensive to you? What does it have to do with you being an African-American? He claimed he alleged there was a tent meeting in 2021 and a handful of people, including Jamie, discussed making changes to Lynn Haven leadership. You called him a liar when he denied it. Is Jamie a liar or are you? Cite your source. Manipulation. You vigorously repeated Lynn Haven cannot live by a double standard and you used Jamie's post as an example. Let's compare Jamie's post and Ramey's texts and see if there's a double standard you claim. Jamie's post stated that poor leadership can ruin an organization and that the leader needed to be replaced with someone who would lead with standards, matching his opinion of the Ramey issue. The post wasn't unethical or immoral. It didn't lack values. Clearly nothing he posted needs an apology. You try to compare that with Ramey sending immoral, unethical, homophobic texts that we're all sick of hearing about, that he apologized for when exposed. That's comparing apples and oranges. Cherry picked one line from his post and missed his point. How's Jamie's post wrong other than you think that it's wrong? Mayor, you're not the standard of Lynn Haven, and disagreeing with you does not, even if it's contentiously, does not create a double standard for the city. Explain why you gaslight Jamie, City Commission, and residents. You floated racism. You said you hope and believe you're not being treated differently because of your race, but then in the same breath, you questioned if your race was the reason citizens infringed on your freedom of speech. I think you also said that the city or community thinks that you're being treated differently because of your race and we need to be careful. That's a serious claim that needs to be elaborated on. What do you mean? Also, do you believe your skin color is a motivation behind your perceived unfair treatment? If so, how? To me, it appears that the only thing wrong with your skin is it appears too thin for local politics, and here's why. You said you don't understand why residents violate your free speech and retaliate against you. Let me help you understand they don't. The fact is, people disagreed with you, they interrupted you, they called you names and were rude to you.
Thank you.
You can't handle that without throwing out wild accusations.
Mr. Switzer, that's your time. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Parker.
Oh, this next up is Jerry Parker, one of the founders and admins over at the Beacon of Bay County. Woo, here she comes.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
All right. Up walks Jerry Parker. Well, the mayor wasn't using his freedom of speech today. He was just sort of sitting there and taking it.
Good morning. I want to start out by saying, reading some of the comments that were made on the City of Lynn Haven post about last commission meeting. I'm only going to read a few of them because there's over 200 of them. And I would say 99% of them are not for you. Unbelievable, disgusting, disappointed by this mayor. Such an embarrassment to Lynn Haven. Yes, work is a hero. I have never witnessed such a childish outburst from an elected official. This was a disgraceful show of arrogance, lack of decorum, and leadership skills from Nelson. No one cares about the color of anyone's skin except for those who love to use color of their skin as a weapon to hide their corrupted, narcissistic, obtruse nature. This was not a display of morals and ethics. It was simply a display of gaslighting, manipulation, and victimhood. Nelson proved by his own actions what people have been stating all along. He needs to be recalled for his seat. Mr. Nelson is bashing work again. Facade of decorum presented by the corrupted parasites of the Diaz was breached tonight, and I say congratulations to all those who spoke out and will continue to speak out. Dumpster fire. City attorney needs to clarify his freedom of speech as a private citizen versus a public official. Looks like the majority of the comments are against mayor's behavior. You have single-handedly made Lynn Haven the laughingstock of Bay County. Shameful mayor. Is this mayor really behaving like this? Commissioner Warwick investigated like the city and other commissioners should have done. He was betrayed and face-planted for doing so, doing right by the citizens. And one other thing that I want to pull up and discuss is when you said that we had discussed about Ricky and the police department, disbanding the police department. That part of it is totally untrue. And if you can prove it, show me the proof. Do I want Vicky and Ricky gone? Yes. There's multiple reasons. Have I said that before? Yes. And I will continue to say it. Was Jamie there when any of that was going on? I don't know. That was years ago. Did I hear him say something like that? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Ms. Jody Moore.
and those comments came from the city's page, I think she said. Here's Jody Moore, Beacon of Bay County.
Good morning. I'll repeat some of those things. I hope you had a good vacay, Mayor. I'm here today because I had to wait 2 weeks to address in person some things that were said at the previous commission meeting. When it comes to my sitting around talking about getting rid of Vicki Gaynor and Ricky Ramey and wanting a city clerk, if I said that, I don't deny it. I've said that, and I've been very open about wanting those things, so it's not really a big deal. However, I would never want to defund the police. That is stupid. I would never say that. And I want to hear your evidence of that. If you threw out the accusation, I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see the proof. And when it comes to Commissioner Jamie Warwick and his supposed Colin Kaepernick statement, I guess he did make it, if that was so offensive to you, Mayor, why didn't you say anything about it when Commissioner Warwick endorsed you for mayor last year? And you didn't refuse the endorsement, so it wasn't that offensive to you. You said you had heard about it years ago. I've devoted myself to making sure the truth gets told, so I think it's pretty clear who's telling the truth and who are liars. Even though at the last commission meeting you called me a liar and applied others and I are racist. If you were trying to deflect attention from Ricky Ramey, you didn't succeed. That issue is not going away. Now I have some time left. Last time you said you could, quote, do this all day. So I'll wait here if you want to address me before I sit down.
You can wait.
Okay. Well, I just don't want to sit down and then have comments, and I don't shout out from, the seat. So if you want to address anything with me here, I have a minute and 20 seconds.
What do you think Jesse Nelson's gonna do? What do you think the mayor is gonna do? See, he likes when you're sitting down and he can have you thrown out with the police, and then he's got all that remember you wanted all that freedom of speech. What is he gonna say? He's got a minute, he's got as much time as he wants. He's running the meeting. You'll see right after this.
Hand caught in the cookie jar? Sometimes bad habits continue even into adulthood. I'm El Saline, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
So Jody Moore, the founder of the Beacon of Bay County, citizen journalist, says, I've got a minute and 20 seconds. What do you want to say? What do you want to ask me? You made these accusations or implied them. What do you want to talk about? What's he going to say, do you think? A minute and 20 seconds here.
You can spend it how you like.
Okay. You don't have anything else to say to me?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Then I'll sit down.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Miss Christy McElroy.
Oh boy. Christy don't play. Watch this. The funniest elected official in Bay County. I cannot stop. He cracks me up so bad. Look at him. He demands respect. Now, Christy, boy, she's going to walk up there handing stuff out. They hate when she walks up there. I feel threatened. Watch Vicky. Watch City Manager Vicki Gaynor. None for you. But she was just handing them out to the mayor and the commissioners. Christy McElroy.
Port St. Joe. Case is what brought me here. I grew up in Panama City. I've been in the Panhandle for 56 years. After college, could have gone other places. I did not. I stayed in the Panhandle. The first document that you'll look at is from a 302 that Vicki Gaynor made.
Now that is an FBI investigation note. Remember, City Manager Vicki Gaynor told the FBI my name, and so did the members of the Beacon of Bay County, and I think even Christy McElroy. Vicki Gaynor lied to the FBI and said that I was on James Finch's payroll. The FBI went and talked to her in an investigation report. I don't know why they would do that. Well, actually, I do know why they were doing that. They were trying to trump up another ridiculous charge against James Finch. They were trying to say that he broke the rules of the court, which he didn't. These people are unbelievable. And if I remember correctly, the city manager said, Vicky Gaynor there told the FBI in an investigation note that Christy McElroy, how did the people get corralled into these accusations? If I had to guess, I'd bet it's Sheriff Ford's campaign manager, dumpster diver Arthur Cullen. That's my guess. That'd be a good guess. I'd probably bet on that one, but I don't know for sure. See, I didn't know that dumpster diver Arthur Cullen with fake accounts, with many fake accounts. I didn't know that. See, Sheriff Ford's office, and I'm talking about his top brass, had always told me that they laugh at Arthur Cullen, that he's a clown. He's always in their brown nose. And the sheriff, I didn't realize a couple of years ago when they were telling me that they were lying to me. That Sheriff Ford is very, very tight with Ricky Ramey and Arthur Cullen and all of these people. As a matter of fact, it was Sheriff Ford and his public trust unit that lied to the FBI about the real mayor, Margot Anderson. And they told the grand jury that she was floating around on a yacht and all kinds of other wild lying accusations about the real mayor, Anderson, who was doing her best post-hurricane to help the citizens when houses were destroyed. Oh, my God. And people were in need and in pain. While Ricky Ramey, the chief of police, assistant chief at the time, and his buddies on the city commission, like Dan Russell, but specifically, I showed you yesterday the text message between former city manager who's in prison now, Michael White, who Vicky Gaynor told Judge Walker was a blessing and a great leader. Then they asked her, how much money did he steal? She said $5 million, but he's a great leader and a real blessing to the city of Lynn Haven. Vicky Gaynor actually said that on the stand, under oath, during testimony in a federal courtroom to Judge Mark Walker. It was unbelievable. And yeah. And then so Sheriff Ford did all he could with the help of Arthur Cullen and Tommy Ham, by the way, to trump up these charges. And they wanted to put Margot Anderson in prison for 1,050 years. 64 charges, all dropped. Then the FBI kept going back and talking with their friends like Vicky Gaynor. And Vicky Gaynor lied to the FBI in these 302s, they call them. Those are the official investigation notes of the FBI. That's what this citizen, Christy McElroy, is talking about.
And utilized my name in that 302.
She did.
Made false statements. I'm not going to speak to the other people, but from talking with them, he also made false statements about them. I can assure you, anyone that knows me, I'm unconventional, a little feral, but I do nobody's bidding. I came here because of your attorney who was over in Panama, who was over in Port St. Joe.
Adam
and was
Albritton.
our attorney.
He
He was also doing conflict of interest things with the county attorney over in Gulf County and was also the magistrate over at Gulf County. So that's what brought me here. And then all this other stuff unfolded. I can assure you I've had several conversations with Margot Anderson. The longest is probably 20 minutes when I apologized to her because, like most people, I thought she was guilty, but she wasn't. And she showed nothing but grace in that federal courtroom.
Wow.
So I went.
Did you hear that? If you've seen Christy McElroy address the commission, like she said, I love the word, she's a little feral, right? She'll lay it out there, but she always brings the facts and the documents and the evidence. And just like me, and I knew Margot Anderson prior to all this. I did not know James Finch at all. I met him in the courtroom during a break. about a year and a half ago, maybe. And I thought they had to have done some of it. I was told they did all of it. I was told the evidence was overwhelming by the sheriff's top brass. And they lied to me. And as you know, if you've followed me since 2007 or any point in time, I just go where the evidence leads me. And I was dreading having to tell you that Margot Anderson had done illegal things. And I looked and I went, and so did Christy McElroy. And so did the people going up here to speak actually drove to Tallahassee and sat in the federal courtroom and watched the evidence and the testimony. These people know what they're talking about. They were there in the room. I was in the room. You know, I was reporting from there. And she saw. Christy McElroy just admitted that she too thought the same thing. That this is what a person with humility and intellectual honesty does. I got to hear this again.
Made false statements about him.
This is
can assure you,
remarkable.
Anyone that knows me, I'm unconventional, a little feral, but I do nobody's bidding. I came here because of your attorney who was over in Panama, who was over in Port St. Joe,
Adam
and was our attorney. He was also doing conflict of interest things with the county attorney over in Gulf County, and was also the magistrate over at Gulf County. So that's what brought me here. And then all this other stuff unfolded. I can assure you I've had several conversations with Margot Anderson.
This is
The
incredible.
longest is probably 20 minutes when I apologized to her because, like most people, I thought she was guilty, but she wasn't. And she showed nothing but grace in that federal courtroom. So I went to her because I can humble myself and say when I'm wrong. And I deeply and sincerely apologize to Margot. That was probably the longest conversation I've ever had with her, although I do know some of her family members who are wonderful people.
Yes, they are.
If you look at the next item that is stapled separately, it concerns Michael Gordon and the targeting from your police chief. And
Michael Gordon was the building official that city manager Vicki Gaynor was mad at because he would not give her the permits at a new house that she bought, a fancy house that she bought. She was building a swimming pool, I believe, doing stuff. She needed to get some permits. And the building official that she just mentioned, Michael Gordon, I can't do that. And Vicki Gaynor got so angry that, well, let's let Christy McElroy
I
talk.
went to her because I can humble myself and say when I'm wrong. And I deeply and sincerely apologize to Margot. That was probably the longest conversation I've ever had with her, although I do know some of her family members who are wonderful people. If you look at the next item that is stapled separately, it concerns Michael Gordon and the targeting from your police chief, Ann McAlinden, after his arrest. And they tried to say he didn't show up to pretrial parole meetings or whatever. Well, so they were going to go pick him up. So you look at those text messages. The next item, he also calls Michael Gordon a tard. So make sure you pick that up. The last item that I'll go over today is
Thank you.
concerning
That's your time.
your chief of police,
Thank you.
Chief Goose.
That's your
He's an
time.
embarrassment. And please stop exporting your
Thank you.
trash here
That's
in Bay
your time.
County to Gulf County.
Thank you.
What are the answers there?
Any additional public commentary? Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm up here not to make noise, which some of the commissioners think we're supposed to do. And I'm not here to finish off the triad and 4 people that you have labeled distantly as being against you. A long time ago when I joined the U.S. government, I learned one thing. When you sit on panels and you address it as an official officer, and especially with promotions, you do not reference the individual. You do not reference by name. Just say subject. Therefore, from now on in, I will never address, and I have never done it, by name anybody that I feel is making a mistake, which is an employee, which I never do, or a commissioner. I will mention their title or their position within the government. If you want to, if I make an accusation, if you want to assume a name to go with that, that's your problem, not mine. I'm just saying their office and them demonstrating a job in their office is incorrect. So remember, this is not, what happened in the years before was this was interpreted to be personal. It's not personal, it's professional. We're asking you for advice. We're asking for your staff for advice, answers to questions. I'm not attacking them. I'm not attacking them. I'm asking them, are you doing your job? It was mentioned from this commission, the fact that you want to reestablish your credibility with the citizens. If you believe any American citizen believes wholeheartedly 100% in their government, and I've got a bridge to sell you from New York. Never are we always going to agree. We have the right to disagree. That will be professional. That will be with courtesy. You have remarked about that, and I appreciate that, Mayor. Remember, what we say, professional, not targeted at a name, targeted at your position and your job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What
Commissioner,
answers
public commentary?
What answers do you have, Mayor Nelson? You got the freedom of
This time we move on to the mayor's report. We have a proclamation for.
Oh my. Funniest dude ever to elected office. Talking about his freedom of speech was being violated, and now he doesn't want to answer or talk at all. Yeah, unbelievable. That's all I had. I just wanted to share this with you. God bless those of you who go to these damn meetings, sit through them, the agony of sitting through these meetings, and petitioning your government for a redress of grievances. A right that is guaranteed in the First Amendment. By the way, do you know the 5 rights? It's not just freedom of speech. Do you know the 5 rights that are listed, that are enumerated, that are guaranteed in the First Amendment to the Constitution? It's the only one of the amendments, at least in the first 10 Bill of Rights, that actually lists rights by, like, for example, freedom of speech. And the one I just told you, the right to petition your government for a redress of grievances. There are 5 of them listed, and only 2% of Americans can list them. It's a fun assignment if you want to learn that. I want to thank those of you who support my efforts by throwing a tip in the tip jar. Thank you so much. Crowdfunding as little as $5 a month at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. And also, of course, thank you to the unknown patriot, and I will see you soon.